Hey guys, you're here with Pack Rats MTG. I'm Patrick. This is my man Cam.
Up, guys?
And you're joining us for another segment of Keep It or Cull It. So if you haven't seen one of these, or if it's been a while, let us remind you of the rules. Cameron, in his possession right now, has some cards from our collection. He has 2 cards from each color, 2 artifacts, and 2 multicolored cards that we have no idea what they are. They're just old cards from our collection, and we will be unveiling them to you and to us, and we'll be discussing the value they have to us personally and otherwise, to eventually decide if we will keep it in our collection or if we'll go ahead and sell it or give it to someone or what have you. So let's do this. Keep it or cull it. What do we got?
All right,
Cam?
let's do it, guys. So item 1, right off the bat, I think I got reds first. First. Okay, so Goblin Game. Oh, look at the freaking text wall there. All right.
I know.
Jeez, dude. This is why I don't play red. 5 and 2 red. Each player hides at least one object. Then all players reveal them simultaneously. Each player loses life equal to the number of objects he or she revealed. Then the player who revealed the fewest objects loses half his or her life rounded up. If 2 or more players are tied for fewest, each loses half his or her life rounded up.
What in the world? What set is that from?
Plane Shift.
Plane Shift.
The invasion block, dude. Like,
no kidding.
There's no excuse for this trash that late in the game of Magic.
Hey, but
what do they think, it's revised?
I know, seriously. That is really cool. I want to play that.
Do you really? Because I think this is for sick humans that shouldn't play Magic.
That will be my way of contesting multiplayer games. Like, all right, you guys want to play multiplayer? Then I'm gonna unload a Goblin Games on us here
with illicit auction and other stupid red cards printed.
No, I'm really not
wasting life.
It is kind of interesting, though. I mean, what do you think? It seems to me you're ready to auto cull that.
Dude, I was tempted to stop halfway and put it in the cull pile, just like veto it, But I just don't think Magic has room for this shenanigans.
All right, let's let it go. But first, we'll at least say that art is really cool. Looks
it is
like
fun. It's like Squee hiding
Yeah, yeah. It looks like a
trolley or something
with clown shoes.
Yes, it does. Okay, so we're agreed then.
Yeah,
that we shouldn't even sell it because that means someone else will be tempted to play. Like, maybe we should just burn it and then write to Wizards. Stop
or
it.
Put it on the spokes of a bike to make that nice floppity noise. People used to do with baseball cards.
That's right. Okay, card 2, Trash for Treasure. Actually, this is cool stuff. So it's 2 and a red. Has an additional cost. You sack an artifact, and you return an artifact from your graveyard to play. So it's Goblin Welder and a sorcery.
Right.
Here's the deal with Trash for Treasure, though. We just ripped open however many boxes of Double Masters where they downgraded it to an uncommon.
Right.
So I'm not super concerned about keeping this around for a commander deck because we probably have 26 copies of it.
Sure.
That's my guess.
But that used to be when it was a rare, right?
Yeah, so this is from Marot. This is like the OG Trash for Treasure.
It's kind of cool.
It's neat. It is neat.
I'm not tied to it, though. I'd be ready to let that one go.
Cold. Done. Moving on.
One of these days, you are going to want to keep a red card.
Maybe. If it was like a lightning bolt, but we're going through rares.
I know.
Okay. Here we go. Bam. Stormtide Leviathan. Stormtide. 8 mana, 8/8. Island Walk. All lands or islands in addition to their other types. And creatures without flying or island walk can't attack.
Right.
So it's a lockdown on a big booty.
Yep.
I can't say that I've played this card ever. Have you?
I haven't played it, but if I remember right, there actually was a deck in Standard a while ago. You know how sometimes like the concentration of removal in a given standard cycle will have it such that a control deck can get away with playing a 7 or 8 mana thing that stops things from attacking or something like that, like a big moat on a stick.
You take your 33 and a third chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8 and a third chance of winning.
Sure.
And at one point, I do want to say that was as like a singleton or maybe 2 copies in the sideboard for blue-based like Azorius control decks.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, I'm not tied to it, and I would happily cull that thing.
You would happily cull it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Me too, man. I will say it is intriguing to me to play in some loppy big creature blue deck. For example, no joke, I have been so tempted to play mono blue Slyn Voda in Commander. You know, he's the uncommon legendary Kraken from Dominaria that if you kick him, you return all return all creatures that aren't like octopi, leviathans, Krakens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Part of me wants, just in case. So if you're good with it, I'm going to veto the call.
That's good.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
I'm going to keep it around because it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think you and I should just go in on building that deck together.
We should. That'd be hilarious.
That'd be fun.
Deck tech on it.
Be a good collaboration. Yeah.
All right, Scalpelexis.
Oh, I know you have a ton of. Yeah. Go ahead and tell us about your ventures with that.
Dude, I loved this card. So Scalpelexis he came out a couple years after I started playing, and I was still a very young lad without any understanding of competitive Magic prowess. You know, it was all just about what seemed like a cool card to play, and it was all casual. Me and my play group, we all meshed. Remember that? We always used to mesh all of the cards together. It didn't really matter about construction rules. Mm-hmm. We were casual players back then. So I remember buying a deck where I had 4 of these in it with 4 Urza's Rage, which made no sense because this is a decking card and that was a big damage spell. But I thought they were cool, so I was like, I have to play this in the same deck. And I think the same deck played Avatar of Woe, you know? Like it was just like whatever big cool stuff we could play.
Dude.
So as a reminder,
that's next level 1/5 flyer. Right there.
Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, the player removes the top 4 cards of the library from the game, and if 2 or more of those cards have the same name, you do it again.
Right.
I don't know why I was so obsessed with this card back in the day. It doesn't make any sense, man. And I'm sure it has no value to it. There's just no way there's value to it. So for me personally, I'm going to say we can go ahead and cull this bad boy.
Oh, man. I always loved the art on that card.
It is cool. It's cool art. To be fair, I'm pretty sure we have a play set, so this would be one of 4.
I think we do. Yeah.
And
which, I'm okay with keeping 1 around, but we definitely don't need a play set.
We don't need a play set, and the fact is, like, we're Commander players, so when are you ever going to have 2 cards of the same? I mean, if it's 2 basics, that's about it. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
Call.
Yeah.
Call the Scalpelex. This next color. Bam. Forgotten Harvest. This is a prophecy enchantment. 1 and a green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may remove a land card in your graveyard from the game. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature.
Okay.
And it's a rare. It's stuff like this that just made me so frustrated with Magic. And I'm sure every player can relate to this. If you've ever opened a box or a pack, you're looking for that one dope card, and then Forgotten Harvest comes. Oh, man.
And that's funny, too. Wasn't that... What set was the Avatar of Woe from?
Prophecy. Same thing, man.
Yeah, I want to say, did you go through a little episode there where you tried to rip an Avatar for a long time and you kept getting those really terrible rares like that?
Yes. Now, ironically enough, because I did that, we have like 17 copies of Mystic Study.
Right.
Which is the only card worth a damn in that set.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a nice little, spice. The Wizards gods just kind of giving me a little love back on the back end. But yeah, man, just the trash rare volume I got out of there. Oh, it's embarrassing.
It's like a worse scavenging ooze, not on a stick.
It's just The worst.
It's just garbage.
It
Yeah.
sucks.
So
All right, Cole.
let's toss that out.
Green number 2, Vine Lasher Kudzu.
Love that card.
Okay, so 1 and a green for a 1/1. Whenever a land comes into play under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So this is really, when you think about it, this is the OG landfall, dude.
I was gonna say, yeah, landfall before landfall existed.
That's it. Landfall met Dryad, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I definitely remember playing Grow variants when Ravnica block was a thing, like Bant Grow.
Yeah.
And when it was Time Spiral block, I had the Mystic Enforcers in there. You know, I used Life from the Loam tactics. It was a fun, it was a really fun deck. It was cool. And I actually did decently with it at local FNMs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a fun card, man. I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to get rid of this bad boy.
No, I want to keep it. Even if you wanted to get rid of it, I think I would override you.
You'd veto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
All right, let's keep it. Vine Lasher Kudzu, pretty cool stuff. All right, next one, Magus of the Mirror.
Right, exchanging life totals or something.
Yeah, exchange life totals, which I don't remember what set that card originally came from. The Mirror. I want to say it was like Arabian, right, or like way the heck back.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's old stuff. The problem with this card, of course, is just the cost. 6 mana for a 4/2. And then he's got Summoning Sickness. You know.
Right.
Oh, it's just rough, man.
But here's the thing. In Commander, there's an Orzhov commander that lets you, I forget, it's some sort of angel for 5 mana or something, and you can pay life to bounce it to your hand or something. And so there are a few Orzhov control decks that use her to whittle down their own life total and then use a card like Magus to exchange life totals. And that's a deck that I'd potentially be interested in. So I actually think Magus is a keep for me.
Yeah, okay, interesting. You know, the other thing is...
Because remember, you mentioned Summoning Sickness too, and you're totally right. But again, in Commander, you know, Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots are absolute staples in everything. So, yeah.
If it's not competitive, yeah, for sure. I was actually thinking too with Erebos, you know, you're kind of you're playing the limbo game, and so it kind of be a funny little you know, bomb trick, really.
Right.
Mid the late game.
Yeah,
you know, you're down to 16, 18, you haven't really done much with them, you flop things around and then start dwindling down again. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
All right, black number 2, Roiling Horror. I don't even remember this, dude. It's 3 and 2 black for an XX. Power and toughness are each equal to your life total. Your life total minus the life total of an opponent with the most life. Okay. So then suspend X. It's X and 3 black. X can't be 0. Whenever a time counter is removed from it while it's removed from the game, target player loses life and you gain a life.
Hey.
Kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Really interesting, actually. In big mana black, that's not terrible.
Right.
Again, not competitive in the least, but when you're talking about a multiplayer play group where everybody's just trying to have fun, that's kind of cool.
Very cool casual card. Yep.
Very cool casual card. Yeah, I think we're going to keep this one around.
Yep.
Bam. Next card. Let's take a look at what we got. Pariah. That is a really interesting old school card.
Yeah,
so
remind me.
2 and a white for an aura, enchant creature, redirect to enchanted creature, all damage dealt to you.
Right. Okay.
So remember, there was a huge thing with my, again, casual play group with Chomano Revolutionary.
Right.
And because they were back-to-back blocks, so they were legal and standard, you know, and obviously you'd slap this on the Chomano, and then if you had a Chomano's Blessing or something, you could really protect him well. It was interesting. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Probably not the most competitive. Still, pretty cool. So what do you think, man? You're more of a white player.
Right. That being said, I don't like that card at all. So I'd be happy to get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, and I'm sure you would agree with me, I'm always cautious with auras in general, because it's you're just setting yourself up for 2-for-1. And at the end of the day, with foundational Magic principles, card advantage is a huge thing. And if you give the opponent an unprotected means of getting a 2-for-1,
exactly.
Not enticing on my end.
No, and that, like, you're just spending those resources to preventing damage in general is just continues to weaken as Magic goes on. You know, would you agree with that? I mean,
100%.
If you do like a combo type variant of like a turbo fog combo-y thing, sure, but those just cards that prevent damage for the most part get tossed by the wayside, as they should. I mean, it's just prevention is not a very good mechanic.
Right. It's no longer an effective mechanic.
By and large. Yeah.
Not at all. I totally agree with that. Okay, so next white. What do we got? We have Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah.
So 1 or white for a 1/1. When she enters the battlefield, you put a when he enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other human you control. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Thalia's Lieutenant. That is really strong. That came from, by the way, the Commander 2020 decks that, you know, obviously we buy Commander decks as they come out because they're good to have those pieces, but stuff like this pops up. I would imagine this card is not a super valuable card in terms of dollar amounts.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I've seen it in quite a few decks, actually.
Oh, no, like
real
competitive
constructed decks.
That's cool. I mean, I could certainly see why, like, you know, in a modern scenario, or even if it were legal in Pioneer. I'm not sure if it is. But the point is, if you had kind of a white weenie human list, or maybe a Boros humans list, that could be extremely strong.
Yeah.
You know, with what white provides, like Thalia herself, as an example, you can really squeeze the interaction out of the game and get a good board position. So what are your thoughts on that, man? Because I got to be honest, if I think you and I have already talked about this, if I was going to go way out of my wheelhouse for a deck, Boros aggro would be like as far gone as I could get. And for some reason, I'm actually really open to the idea right now. And if Boros aggro humans might be kind of cool.
Sure, it would be cool. My first thought with it would be to do Orzhov humans with Zathrid Necromancer.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, so
a little bit of aristocrat action.
So the fact that it intersects, you know, with two of our interests, I think we should definitely keep that around.
Yeah. Yep, so we're going to call it keep on that, guys. That's a really cool card. Okay, I think these are multicolor cards to start. Anax and Cymede.
Right.
I remember pulling this guy. So we got 1 in Boros for 3/2 first strike vigilance. Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets them, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. And by the way, it is a human soldier. Just to play on that theme.
Look at that. The Lords of Chaos are telling you to play humans Boros aggro.
Must be, dude. And it was from Theros. So I don't know if you remember this, but when we were jumping back into Standard for a little period of time, it was when Theros was being released, and we wanted to get a pile of cards. We sold a couple of older cards that we had that were valuable, and bought a few boxes of Theros, and this was one of the results. I don't think this card ever saw play,
Yeah, not that I know of.
any type of love. But here's the challenge with cards like this. They're very reliant on having other creatures to be good in their own right. And you could say the same with Thalia's Lieutenant, but she doesn't mind having things come into play after her. With stuff like this, you know, the situations that it'll be good are more narrow. And so, I don't know, man. What do you think? I'm kind of on the fence.
No, I mean, I think if you legit wanted to play a Boros humans aggro deck, that's a great inclusion.
Great thought.
Yeah, like raise the alarm, you know, turn 1 Raven Inspector, turn 2 raise the alarm, turn 3 that guy, and then turn 4 like have a Titan Strength at the ready. That's pretty strong stuff there.
It is pretty strong. I mean, aggro in Commander obviously is not usually a big competitive thing, but an interesting idea for also having him as the commander. Because if you're playing a lot of buff stuff and you can rely on him well, and the rest of your deck is to build a token strategy or a pretty broad strategy, that may actually be something. So
even if we didn't use it in constructed, I'd be interested in putting that in one of our cubes.
That'd be a cool for sure. have kind of a human or heroic type theme. I'm into that. All right, guys. Last multicolor card. Oh, Cyto shape. This is so cool. So 1 and Simic for an instant. Choose a non-legendary creature in play. Target creature becomes a copy of that creature until end turn. Now, I'm sure you're not thinking back to this point because I played Simic back in the OG Ravnica. I loved Simic Draft. I thought it was so fun. And I actually did decently. I think at the regionals at the time, I did 5 and 4 or something like that. It was terrible, right. But it was not, I didn't
Did you play Experiment Crage?
Say that again?
Did you play Experiment Crage? Is that what it was called? The big guy, the 6 mana?
No, I didn't. I went much more aggro control, obviously. So I played the Plax Manta and the Plaxcaster Frog and Trigon Predator, and then relied on some tempo stuff, bounce counters like Void Slime. But what was cool with the Grafters is they are 0/0 bases, that have +1/+1 counters as they enter. So Cyto Shape was the most incredible versatile removal spell in Standard. If you had a Grafter on the table, because it didn't matter what it was, the other card was dead. And that was what was really cool. It got around Indestructible, it got around quite a few things. The only thing it didn't get around is if that creature happened to have a +1/+1 counter on it.
Sure.
Now, the question is whether you or I are interested in running this at some point in the future.
Yeah, I don't see myself running that.
I don't either. You and I have talked. I'm going to be putting GAT back together for old time's sake. And of course, Plaxcaster Frog is going to be really good in that list. But he's probably one of maybe 2 or 3 Grafters. And that's not enough for me to justify a card like this.
Yeah.
So again, fun nostalgic memories. Our vote.
Cull.
All right. Artifacts. Last pile, guys.
Fun
little reminisce. Oh, I think we saw this last time, but this is a Quicksilver amulet.
Yep. And we said, what we said last time is still my verdict. I say we keep those.
100%.
Quicksilver. Yeah.
Now, this one happens to be in pretty rough shape. I mean, you may not be able to see it here, but there's a crease.
Yeah.
Kind of down the middle of the card. It's just, we played the crap out of this card.
I was gonna say that was probably TJ's Quicksilver or something.
Yes, this was one of our buddies way back in the day. It was in Dragon's Beats, and then it was in Beasts. I think you ran it in Beasts.
Beasts.
It just seems so much love. Such a cool card, and again, the OG Aether Vial, right? Avoid counter spells, avoid triggering casting spell triggers. Really interesting way to play, and better than Aether Vial in this regard. It didn't care what mana cost you were playing. Of course, the activation costs were high.
Yep.
But it didn't care about having to wait every upkeep to put counters on it or anything like that. It just did what it was supposed to do.
I think eventually I want to do an Angels deck with Quicksilver Amulet as well.
You definitely should. If you were going to do Angels, what colors would you play?
I mean, probably Mardu. There's that great...
Oh, you'd go Tricolor Angels.
I'd go Tricolor Angels because it's got that great commander. I want to say it's Tariel or something. It's the 4/7 Vigilance flyer. You could tap it to put a dude from the graveyard to the field under your control. I'm still in love with that commander. So eventually I think I'll do that. And Quicksilver would be a great inclusion.
The other thing, the interesting thing that you point out, especially if you're playing black, right? One of the rules in Commander is that when the commander dies, you can put it back into the exile zone, or you can let it go to the yard. Yeah. So if you have a way to get cards, one of my favorite cards in Commander for this purpose in black is Phyrexian Reclamation. So if you're running something like that, pay 2 and 2 life, you can put your commander back in your hand, not have to worry about the commander tax. And with Quicksilver Amulet, you then don't even have to worry about his casting cost. So it's a nice way to kind of get away from that commander tax loop. A deck like that sounds like it would be a blast, man. Mm-hmm. All right, bud. This is one of your favorite all-time, Astral Cornucopia. So Triple X comes into play with X charge counters and taps Choose a color when you tap it, and then you add a mana of that color for each charge counter. So all you have to do is pay 9.
I was just gonna say. I mean,
all you have to do is pay 9, and it's like having a Gilded Lotus.
Look, here's the thing. I love all things that can be tutored up by a Trinket Mage, and the fact that I can go fetch an Astral Cornucopia with a Trinket Mage makes me happy. But I mean, and I love the flavor of the card. I love the art of the card, but it's just so darn inefficient.
And
I always
start a
deck with Astral Cornucopia in it, and without fail, within the first 2 to 3 games, I go, this thing is not working out. So maybe eventually I'll find a deck that I'm happy with it. I'm gonna keep trying.
I remember you playing. Well, you've actually played quite a few clock spinning variants where you played transmuters and tutors to be able to fetch up clock spinning, and that actually made Cornucopia not a bad target.
Exactly.
Still wasn't the most efficient thing.
Oh,
because
no.
You and I know, and everybody listening knows, we could use clock spinning to bump up planeswalkers or any number of other cool things.
Yeah.
Manipulate and engineered explosives or.
Right.
But it was cool when it lasted.
It was cool.
I will say it was cool. But what are your thoughts? Keep or call?
Well, I've got one, and I don't ever see needing any more than that, so I'm fine to call it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I would never play this card.
Yeah.
It's never going to end up in a deck I build.
Just appreciate the art for 1 second, though.
It's listen, beautiful. Some of Magic's greatest art is on really junk cards. Like some of the commons and uncommons that they've done over the years have just been fantastic art. Absolutely outstanding artwork, but which it is a testament to the quality of the product of Magic the Gathering. But yeah, we enjoy playing decent decks,
Oh yeah. What would be fun for us to do is search for the card that has the highest power to art quality ratio. Right? So it's like the card that would win that is super strong, super amazing, and then the art is just horrendous. I would love to find that
I see
card.
What you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. We'd probably have to travel back a bit.
I think so.
And not to occupy this video, but something like a Time Twister would probably win.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Ancestral Recall. It's like the guy drawn with a crayon, and he's
just a way more terrible version of Brainstorm in terms of art. Right?
Yeah, dude.
Totally.
Well, guys, thanks for hanging with us. We got to do an episode of Keep It or Cull It, and you guys just got to see a little vision into some of the things that we've played with and have memories from over 20 plus years of Magic. It's been really fun to do this. It always is fun to do this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Remember, this is Pack Rats MTG. We're always bringing new stuff. We're going to be bringing box breaks from new sets as they arrive and new ways to play Magic. The Keep It or Cull It is just a way for us to kind of turn back the time machine a little bit and have fun talking about past events. So we'll see you guys next time on whatever episode you end up landing on. Remember to go down to the bottom of this, like, subscribe, comment, share, tell us what you thought about some of the things that we have, share memories that you have. We'd love to hear from you. We can't wait to see you on the next time, and we will catch you then, guys. Have a great rest of your day.